Hello, hello. I just want to say, spring sucks.
Welcome to Nashville.
What was that all about? Man, Ken and I were wearing shorts the other day, running around, happy as can be.
It's almost like joy was returning to the air.
I had to wear, I know, this is why we're not the happiest place in the world. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, how miserable we are. See, Randy Weingart's on CNN. I can't believe Trump is going to dismantle this. Really? First of all, every single Republican for, I don't know, since 1981 has said, we got to get rid of this. We got to get rid of this. We got to get rid of this. But there was a lot of pushback. You can't do that. It's horrible. Then COVID came, and I told everybody, do not ever underestimate the power of the parent, baby. They saw insanity, and they said, we want no part of this. And while the states handle so much of what gets taught, and it does, gets handled. I mean, they 80 to 90% of the stuff, funding and everything, goes to the classroom. It comes from the state. Even at that point, you know, you break it down. It's minimal comparatively to what they have because of a lot of administrators. But this is nothing new. I mean, they've been talking about this forever and a day since I was young. The talk has been, the Department of Education is useless. It is useless. It doesn't do anything. The problem for the Department of Education has always been how useless it is, but B, and I think this is an important thing for people to understand, their outside kind of influence to the classroom was greater than people realize. With the Randy Weingarts of the world, who's it? Mike Pompeo called her the most dangerous person on the planet. But John Sununu was on with CNN today, and they were talking about it, and he basically said, "Yeah, tell me why we keep it." Hold on, man. Turn on my thing, man. Turn on there we go. Huh? Don't make me come in there.
But we're talking about the Department of Education, as you just heard. Why do Republicans support the dismantling of the Department of Education?
Well, what's the value add? What value add does the federal Department of Education bring when you return power to states? And as a governor, I can tell you that's very important. And it's not just the money, it's the control, how those dollars are spent. All the red tape that comes with the federal Department of Education when it comes to special ed, school choice, homeschooling, charter schools, whatever it might be. Let states have those options. Look, I might disagree. I'll use an extreme example. I might disagree with Gavin Newsom in California on a lot of things.
What?
But believe me, California knows what their students need a heck of a lot better than a bunch of bureaucrats in Washington. So and this isn't just a MAGA idea, guys. This is empowering parents, teachers, that better communication at the local level, driving curriculum at a localized level for the needs of that community. That's it. So it's good. It's a great idea.
But here's the pushback that we hear, and here's one of the facts. The Department of Education is prohibited from telling states how to educate.
Yeah, they're prohibited, but it doesn't mean it doesn't reach down there because of the strength and the power they have. Now, is this going to be done? Everybody thinks, just like, let me tell you how this works. This is all about court cases. This is a Congress thing. Congress has the power of the purse. I did a video last night. If you missed out, go grab it. Check it out. Chad Benson Show on YouTube. But everybody, understand, Elon is doing everybody else's job. Trump is doing everybody else's job. Everybody else is Congress. So this is the same thing. Congress has the power of the purse. That's the way these things work. Executive orders only work in so many ways. And in many cases, it's just about starting the ball forward. Some things, like with deportation and the battle that's going to go on there, and does he have the right to do this, that's going to be sussed out in a different way. This gets there, well, Congress, right? USAID, Congress. Those things, Congress. Well, Congress sits around like they're champion. Yeah, you go, Trey. You go, Donald. Go, President Trump. Go, Elon. You do your stuff. It's great. Oh, my God, we don't have to do a thing. Nobody's going to be mad at us. And if we can't get it over the line, we're not going to get in trouble because it's a giant, huge mess. But when I listen to people talk about, promises, kept promises delivered, those kind of things, and you'll hear that a lot. The way they act is, man, I can't believe they're doing this. Like, you can't? First of all, he talked about it all the time, but every politician on the right forever and a day has always talked about the Department of Education being a giant waste. This is nothing new. The difference is COVID came, and when COVID came, it gave people a look into schools. And even though, yes, the states educate the schools, people like Randy Weingart and a bunch of others, that kind of power they have, the influence they have, is kind of like when Twitter has an outside influence on real life, especially in politics, that maybe it shouldn't have. And it's the same thing. They had an outside influence. Well, all these things are going to go away. What's going to go away? That the state isn't A, going to pick up because the money's going to flow there, or B, was already in another agency prior to the Department of Education. Good question.
I think what you can expect the president and all of his allies to say today repeatedly is promises made, promises kept. But it is a huge deal that what Trump is planning to do. Of course, that executive order will be signed today in a really pomp and circumstance event at the White House, just showing how not just expected this executive order is, but how deeply popular it is with the MAGA base, something that this White House has shown that they want to really cater to and keep happy. And so this is something that Donald Trump repeatedly said on the campaign trail.
So many people. I bet many of you listening, you text in, let us know. How many of you listening have heard that for years, though, that the Department of Education is a waste? It's a waste. It's a waste. Many of you have. Because we've all kind of thought it. You know best what's best for you. And this is all about returning it to the states. When it returns to the states, it then returns even more so to the hands of the parents. And parents, this is where you need to get involved. I'm only tell you once. Got to get involved. You got to. It does start at home, and it's important. And it's not the end all to be all. But I tell you what, I like this. And yes, it is going to get challenged in court. And he knows that. Axios's White House reporter said, you know, these things have all been planned out since before he was president. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to do an EO on this. This is going to happen. Stephen Miller is scouring everything he can find, every law thing he can find for the tiniest, most obscure law to go, okay, what can we try and what can we maybe get away with? What can withstand the court's challenges? And in certain situations, especially when it comes to immigration, knowing full well they were going to lose. Trump knew all along he was going to lose because he knows he's going to win at the top court. And that's really all that matters is the top court. It's the same thing here. This one, though, because of Congress, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different. But it's so don't be frustrated when the lawsuits, which have already been flying in, they were flying in pre this. Don't get frustrated when I can't believe it's a rogue judge. No, everybody's going to judge shop. And by the way, most right-leaning judges probably say this is a Congress thing. You know, I mean, they're the power of the purse, and they're the ones who are wusses. So, they couldn't get this thing over the line. But it's about getting it to the court system because without getting it first launched, you can't then start to make your way up to the Supreme Court. Now,
what it calls for is taking the steps to dismantle, to the extent legally possible, the Department of Education. In this fact sheet that I obtained last night, it talked about just how low test scores are and how they believe that this will improve test scores and improve children's outcome by putting this back to the states. It didn't outline how, but said that it would. Now, this is just not the first action, though, that we've seen this White House take on the education department. Already, we've seen a major reduction in force, mostly through layoffs at the department. We've seen them canceling contractors, canceling federal grants. So this is basically the latest, most wholesale action that we're seeing them take. And really, they've been working on this executive order, John, for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Project 2025. Oh, really? No. They've been working on this one forever. They just didn't think anybody had the cojones enough to do it. Let's get rid of it. I love the fact that Linda McMahon gets sworn in. She's like, do you solemnly swear to be the greatest Department of Education leader? She's like, I totally do. And then he's like, go dismantle it and lose your job. What job do you think she gets next? They give her an ambassadorship somewhere? That's what I would think. That's what I would want. If you could be an ambassador anywhere, where would it be? That's a good question. Well, I want to be in Finland because it's the happiest place on earth. That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I keep hopping around.
Too much snow.
Keep hearing.
Chris was like, how are they so happy? I said, well, it's their diversity. If you listen to the first 5 or 6 countries that you read off, Ken, it's all about diversity.
Yeah.
Finland, Denmark, and who else? Let's see.
Norway.
Yeah, Norway.
Sweden.
I've heard Sweden's pretty cool.
Sweden's awesome, man.
I was going to say Ireland, but
Ireland's
Rosie
fun
O'Donnell
too,
beat me there.
but
I don't know if I want to go hang out with her.
No. So, but it's this is just it's interesting. All this stuff is interesting. Oh, Finland. You guys never been to Finland? It's beautiful. I've been to Helsinki. It's an interesting place. They take a lot of, from what I understand, a lot of antidepressants to get through some parts of the winter. It's tough, man, because I've told you guys before, when I was in Europe playing soccer, I spent a while in Göttingen in Denmark. It was like a little island. And we're like, we're going to train late. I said, okay, because it's kind of weird. It was fun. It was preseason. I said, okay, cool. It was like 10 o'clock. I'm like, 10 o'clock's weird. It's just a park. There's no lights because it's sunlight. It's like at 2 a.m, you guys look outside. That's what it's like.
Oh, wow.
It is. The sun never goes down. It's so weird.
Interesting.
You got to make everything jet black in there. It's a trip. A lot of stuff to get to today. Interesting thing. Anthony Mackie, you know who he is. If you're like, what did he play in the Avengers?
He was the Falcon.
Was he the Falcon? I keep saying Hawkeye, but he wasn't Hawkeye.
He's the Falcon, and he's now the current Captain America.
That's my problem. I look at him and I think, you're Falcon guy.
He's a Falcon.
That's what I think. I think you're Falcon, dude. You can't be. It would be weird if Chris Hemsworth played the Captain America or,
made him the Hulk.
Yeah, or anything. or the Hulk. But
that shield would be tiny in his hand.
But all of it, it's like, I look at you and I think Falcon. And then you kind of got Falcon stuff.
Yeah, he still got the Falcon kit with a shield.
Yeah, so it just didn't feel, But he said something about masculinity that was awesome.
I saw that.
It was awesome. We're going to talk about that today. A bunch of other stuff to get to. We're going to do our picks for the NCAA playoffs because now's the time when that lady at your work jumps in the pool. She doesn't know anything about college basketball, and she gets every game right. Because I like your uniforms.
Yeah. Likes their colors.
I'm hoping that's going to be me today. Let's go.
All right. Yeah, and I'm sure by now the games haven't even started, have they?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I bet you my bracket's already busted. You get excited, you win your first 2 games, like this is going to be awesome, and then by the end of the evening, you're like, I was 2-10. Who saw Birch Stevenson State of North Dakota beating whoever? I don't know. I'm making stuff up.
But that's how it is, dude.
That is how it is. That is. Good stuff to get to. Plenty of it. Lots more of this. The deportation flights, the judge, the battle that's going on there. Budweiser a year ago. Tesla now. Are things different or are they kind of the same? We're going to discuss that as well. If you missed the show, grab the podcast. It is the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7. Birch Gold. When do you buy a life vest? Before you go out. Right? Like this before you go out in the water because it's too late by the time it starts sinking. Think about it with gold. When things start to go south, it's too late. Gold's taken up, but there's still time, still opportunities because you know what? Unsteadiness still out there in the global economy, right? Dollar a little bit weaker, worries of inflation, tariffs, the whole 9 yards. Gold will help you. Text the word Benson to 989898. Birch Gold's going to get you out an investor kit, show you how you can move your IRA 401k to Goldback IRA 401k at no cost, how this will protect you and your family going forward when it comes to, fluctuations and in case of, because you never know. There's always the in case of. It's about diversifying. It's not about putting everything in one area. It's about diversifying across the board, and gold will help you with that and give you comfort to know that if things go a little south, you've got protection. Text the word Benson to 989898 now for Birch Gold.
Tech giant Oracle just closed on another $60 million worth of land in Nashville where they want to put their global headquarters. We got that story and more coming up on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, I want to hear this. Chlamydia? I heard you and Chris talking about it. Chlamydia or Schumer, our buddy John Kennedy, wearing the red glasses, too, in the interview.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear what this thing's all about.
Unless a football coach taught you history, you understand that shutting government down never achieves anything. It just scares people, especially the elderly. Having said that, many Democrats are angry at Schumer. Among them right now, we've all seen the news. He's about as popular as chlamydia. But that to me says as much about the Democratic Party as it does about Senator Schumer.
Yeah. That wasn't really a swipe at Schumer. I said the other day, if you take a step back, if you're a Democrat, Chuck Schumer saved you from yourself. Saved you from yourself. You need, every once in a while, you need somebody to go, you know what? No, this is going to be poor. Well, he didn't fight. It's not about fighting. It's about picking the right time to fight. And the right time to fight, if you're a Democrat, wasn't to go, we'll blame the Republicans and we'll get the media to follow along because you don't have that power anymore. Yeah, the establishment media may go out there and go, it's all their fault because they control it. But the party has a chance to reach all their own people. And they'll say, nah, it was all their fault. They didn't want to get involved in any of this and blah, blah, blah. And they'll go back and forth. And they voted for a lot of this the other time. And the reality is that he went and he took a step back and he goes, you know, if we do this, Elon and them can do whatever they want. And so all the malarkey they scream is like, he's bad and he needs to go and you're horrible and blah, 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 blah. And the Sonny Houstons of the world attack. You don't get it. You don't get what would have happened. Now, I would have enjoyed it. I would have sat there and went, well, this is going to be interesting to watch. But it didn't happen. So, but he saved you somewhat from yourself. You're fighting every day about let's keep things open. Let's not see people lose their jobs. He said, what happens if these people don't go to work because it's closed and Elon and them come in and go, yeah, you know what, lock the doors, turn off the lights. We're going to sell the building. We're going to close it. And then they're like, we don't have a job anymore. Oh. Well, I mean, it's all going to be litigated anyways because we live in a world of litigation. And that's just the way it is. I mean, they're talking like Social Security. Have you guys heard the new law for Social Security? Well, not the new law. What they're trying to do for Social Security, which for some people is going to be uncomfortable. I get it. But we can't sit around for a few when the many are moving forward.
A major change coming to Social Security in an effort to crack down on fraudulent claims. The Trump administration planning to impose stricter measures on how to verify a person's identity. Soon, people will no longer be able to prove their identity over the phone, meaning those who can't do so using the online service have to go in person. The change comes as the agency plans to close dozens of Social Security offices nationwide and lay off thousands of workers. The tightening measures coming from Doge and Elon Musk, who is using claims of voter fraud and illegal immigration to make the pitch for cuts, allegations for which he hasn't offered evidence and experts say is inaccurate.
By using entitlements fraud, the Democrats have been able to attract and retain vast numbers of illegal immigrants.
And buy voters.
And by voters, exactly.
Well, somewhat by voters. I mean, I would like to see the evidence. I'm not going to take everybody's word for it. I don't know about you guys. Some people out there are totally fine with that. I'm not one of those people that like to see the evidence. By the way, I watched a bit of the Ted Cruz interview, his podcast. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It should be called Awkward and Uncomfortable with Ted Cruz.
I'll back that 100%.
Hi, everybody. I'm here, and let's have a conversation. Because he's always kind of awkward anyways.
Yeah. He's better at structured speech stuff than I think.
Yes, he's great at that. And for my one of my stations, I interview Ted a lot because I'm in a big station in Dallas for my morning show, and so So I'll interview Ted Cruz on several occasions, and I like Ted. But he is, I always say, dude, I said, you make everybody uncomfortable because you're so damn smart. But it also comes across that you're kind of smarmy and you're smarter than everybody else.
Yeah.
He's just got to keep talking like a preacher.
Yes.
When he talks like a preacher, he's smooth.
Yeah, he is. But he knows he's smart. That's the issue. Like when you know you're the smartest cat in the room, was it Dershowitz? Dershowitz said when he was a freshman, he goes, he knew more about the law than most of the professors. So that's an uncomfortable thing, though, when you know that.
Yeah.
So we don't have that problem, guys.
I do not have that problem.
But you know what we are? Yeah. Fun and not uncomfortable.
That's true.
God, it's freezing out there, man. I don't know whose idea this was. What's the weather like? Give us a little snapshot.
Well, we're going to stay in the 40s today, Brother Chad. But we're going to have a slow warm-up starting tomorrow. Looks like we're going to get into the 60s tomorrow, be in the 60s on a Saturday, and a Sunday looks like we could be in line for some more severe weather, at least wonderful. A risk for it.
What's the severe weather?
That would be thunderstorms.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Man, it rained last night before I went to bed. It was sheets. It was coming down so hard.
But that would be Sunday night. Okay. Looks like we don't have to worry about any rain, or rather anything severe Sunday. Now, there could be some showers Sunday.
I'm okay with that.
With a high near 74, which I can do that.
All right. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
So, we just got to get through today.
We can do that, guys. We can do that as a team. Let's do this.
That's right. Come on,
you know
boys.
what they say.
Yeah, come on.
You know what they say? Spring showers bring May flowers.
Oh, look at that right there. And he's got a hat on like me right now. That's what we're talking about.
Right, man. It's cold.
It is cold. Everybody's like, where's Bell? Bell's on vacation. KGB, he can only last 3 days, and he tapped out.
He had a big date last night.
He did have a big date last night. It's good. Well, when they're in the basement, you got to feed them during the day sometimes. A lot of stuff to get to. I want to talk about masculinity because I thought
that's toxic.
Well, of course it is. Everything's toxic. It's just interesting what Anthony Mackie said. We'll talk about that. Bunch of other goodies to get to as well. It's Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, the Tennessean says tech giant Oracle has closed on $60 million worth of land on the East Bank. It's about 4 acres next to land it has already purchased for its global headquarters. That's about 60 acres. That cost about $254 million. This campus will be home to at least 8,500 workers. And it's to be connected to Germantown across the Cumberland River by a pedestrian bridge. But construction hasn't started yet. The East Bank is where the Titans' new football stadium is being built, which could someday host a Super Bowl. And the Tennessean says Governor Lee submitted an official letter of interest to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell for Nashville to host the 2029 Super Bowl. Nashville city leaders submitted a similar letter earlier this month. The Taliban has released an American tourist they seized 2 years ago. George Glesman, an airline mechanic from Atlanta in his mid-60s, was on a tour of Afghanistan when he was taken into custody. He is the third American detainee to be released by the Taliban since January.
Did you say he was on a tour?
Yeah, he was traveling.
Like a vacation?
Yes.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, he was traveling.
You know what? At this point, good. If you go there, you're kind of doing your own thing. I'm just letting you know.
Wouldn't be on one of my places.
No.
Well, the European Union says it is delaying retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. until mid-April. They want to give more time for negotiation. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says President Trump will sign an executive order today directing the Secretary of Education to move toward closing the Federal Department of Education.
It means stopping the wasteful spending, and as I said, critical programs will be protected.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
it is going to be wet out there. And then what happens? It gets a little warmer. Then it gets wet again. You want to make sure that you have everything protected. United Structural Systems is ready to do that. So what I want you to do, write this number down, because you may be having some issues. Maybe wood rot. Maybe that water under the house, you have no idea is there. There's stuff in the walls. You just don't know. You don't want mold or any of that stuff. Ugh. They have 30,000 happy customers. They've been in business 30 years, and they're rocking and rolling. They're not going to sell you anything crazy. If you've got issues with your, this is one of those things where you look and you go, what's wrong with my crawl space? What's going on down there? I don't know. But that's why you need them to come out. Don't do it yourself. It's all about your foundation, right? Make sure everything's good, because as we know, something small becomes something big, becomes something super expensive. And USS can help you with that. They're the best around. Call 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855 or USSTN.com. Oh, here's a question for you guys. Would you rather have your kid just kind of a bit of a stoner, Right. No college debt, plays a lot of video games, works kind of half-assed part-time, like 30 hours a week. I don't know, at some fast food restaurant. Not really sure where they're going in life. Or you wasted $1 kabillion for this.
Hi, I'm a Scout. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm an interdisciplinary major at UBC. I'm in my last semester. My primary thematic focus is decolonizing academia and public knowledge systems, and my secondary thematic focus is biocultural and linguistic futurity.
For those who don't know what that means, can you give us a quick rundown?
Yeah, basically what I focus on is the promises that the institution has made and also the emergence of indigenous ways of knowing and being across the disciplines, and I feature in a lot of stuff like language revitalization, or the emergent vitality of languages rather, and just kind of a bunch of stuff. I've taken courses in over 20 departments, so
okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
Oh my God, what what's your other major is? Living with mom and dad. Because there is no job for you ever. Because what you just did was waste time, you idiot. I would have hit her with a stick.
Not just time. A lot of money, too.
A lot of money. Because those things aren't free. This is my idea for college. I'm going to run this by you guys. I think it's a great idea. We need engineers, virtually free. You want to be well, hold on here. Let me see what Scout does again, because I've got to... It's this great.
Hi, I'm a Scout. I use
it's not even a real name.
They, them pronouns, and I'm an interdisciplinary major at UBC. I'm in my last semester. My primary thematic focus is decolonizing academia, and
there's not even a job for that. The only job for that is the idiot that teaches that. And we already got one of they thems. Why can't you just get pregnant like your friends? Oh, because you're ugly. Even big girls get pregnant. You can't even do that because you got purple hair and you're dating your girlfriend, but none of you guys really do anything because it's all pretend. That's a what? And the guy's like, oh, that sounds great. No, it doesn't. It sounds awful. It's a stupid. I don't even know. Thematrix? What was that you said? What made-up word did you come up with? And she's like, well, we like to really revitalize indigenous languages. No, you don't. Because that doesn't exist anymore. Those languages are gone. My goodness. Yeah, I like speaking Aramaic. It doesn't have a lot of, I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
It's cool that I know it.
I mean, it's unless Mel Gibson's doing some other movies, right? Like Passion of the Christ 2, I know he's doing. But, yeah, that's oh, God. I know what you can do. You can take my order. I want a hot cocoa with lots of whipped cream. Oh, my Lord. Good God.
Decolonizing. What did she say?
Okay, yeah, let's listen to it again. We got to get through this again. This was spectacular. Her name is Scout, by the way.
Scout.
Hello.
I use they, them pronouns, and I'm an interdisciplinary major at UBC. I'm in my last semester. My primary thematic focus is decolonizing academia and public knowledge systems, and my secondary thematic focus is biocultural and linguistic futurity.
For those who don't know what
Okay, somebody look this up. Bioculture, linguistic, futurity. Isn't that a race?
Biocultural.
Futurity?
Biocultural and linguistic futurity refers to the interconnectedness of biological, cultural, and linguistic diversity and the future implications of their preservation and potential loss, emphasizing the need for sustainable practices and policies that protect these interconnected systems.
It's just the same thing she said. She went on the Wikipedia. That's probably all they know.
Yes.
That somebody went to school and they were probably like a normal kid, with the church on the weekends, having fun, comes home from first semester, right? She's put on 65 pounds because she's now vegan, but all she eats is Doritos and Ding Dongs. And then, her hair's purple. She's got a girlfriend who goes by they, them. And that's just her name, they, them. And now she's dropped her thing from accounting and or nursing school to try to revitalize a long gone language, apparently.
Get this. So I typed in how much money does someone in biocultural and linguistic futurity make each year, and it took me straight to ZipRecruiter. It says anthropologist salary. Anywhere from $5 an hour to $21 an hour.
Woo! We hope it was worth $280,000 to go to whatever college you went to that was probably all girls.
So I guess basically she's studying to be an anthropologist.
Yeah, somebody looked it up for us. Promoting inclusion practices. Well, that's not been done before.
Yeah, that's...
Empowering marginalized communities. There's only 3 of you. I'm going to tell you this right now. You have no power. Unless you guys are superheroes, you got no power.
Wow.
Chad, are you being honest? I am. What is wrong with you people? Good God. I would just say, get out of my house. You know what? But all Tim does is play video games and smoke weed. I'm proud of him compared to you. I don't even tell anybody I have a daughter.
He's a good boy.
Yeah. He's great at Call of Duty. Oh, my goodness. Meanwhile, back to some serious, not so serious stuff. Canadian Transport Agency landing gear support broke on a Delta plane that flipped over. Remember that plane that flipped over?
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, the landing gear support broke. It didn't have enough support. You can do it.
You can do it.
You can do this. Do you see? You know, there was one the other day. We didn't even talk about it. That wing hit the ground. It was the same company.
Completely missed that.
Yeah, it hit the ground and started. And the air traffic control was like, "Do you guys know your wing hit the ground?" They're like, "No way." Well, at least we didn't flip over. So apparently, the landing gear, the alarm warned the pilots they were descending too quickly. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting into it. The landing gear broke because you guys crashed it. Oh, good God. Meanwhile, speaking of planes, Trump, what you going to do?
The court giving the Trump administration until noon to turn over information about those hasty deportation flights carrying hundreds of Venezuelan migrants who the White House says are violent gang members. Judge James Boasberg says he wants specifics about when exactly the flights took off and left U.S. airspace. Boasberg writing that he's seeking this information not as an unnecessary judicial fishing expedition, but to determine if the order was deliberately flouted, and if so, what the consequences should be.
There's none. Just don't do it again. That's it. And look, would I like to know who was on those planes? Yes. Because do I think you probably made a mistake or two? Absolutely. Of course you did. Some people get swept up. And remember, some people from Venezuela aren't part of Trende. And some of them applied for asylum here and were granted asylum because it was a, communist, socialist country. And so let's find out who it was. So that way you can stand up and say, look, these are who these people are. These are bad, as Trump would say, hombres. And that's why we did what we did. The third plane that did take off later, they said was national security issues. So they don't have to say anything. That's why it may have to go behind closed doors to invoke certain things. But the first 2 planes, again, find out. But this is going to the Supreme Court, so none of this matters. It's just all fun and games at this point. Several of you have chimed in about the lady, their scout, who is doing a great job.
Scout.
Somebody says, and this is awesome, she's studying to be the non-binary Indiana Jones. Oh, she majored in unemployable. People enjoy my, why can't you just go get pregnant like your friends? Oh, my Lord. I wouldn't even know what to do with my kid. So, like I said, fix the college. You want to be an engineer? We need engineers. It's free. It's $1 a unit. The books are free. You want to be a dance major or whatever this lady is? It's going to cost you $400,000 a semester.
Yep.
Let's see. And by the way, there's no grants. You got to pay all of it yourself. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. Nothing. People aren't going to take that class. They're not going to take any of those classes. Well, I was going to do that, but I guess I'll just go be a nurse and get a real job. Or go be a doctor. Or go be a pilot and flip the plane upside down because I crashed it in because I'm Scout, the non-binary Indiana Jones.
Scout.
You know that's not a real name either.
No.
Isn't it? Bruce
Well, I
Willis's
don't know.
kids?
Maybe in Portland.
Maybe. Bunch of hippies.
Portland's not real.
Oh, man, I've been to Portland. It used to be so beautiful.
It is. It is beautiful.
It is.
For about 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
Then it's gray.
Well, it used to be beautiful now there's really you got to go it's beautiful over here where you don't have people shooting up in front of you and people crapping on the sidewalk. It's so funny. Whenever I talk about Portland on my other show, I will get text message. It goes, "Hey, Chad, drive for FedEx. Just drove off an off-ramp and this guy taking a crap on the side of the road." Portland. And you know what? I bet you Scout lives in Portland. She feels like a Portlander. She does.
Didn't Portland is where they tested out free or rather legal heroin?
Yes, Portland. Yeah, they the fentanyl. They tried to
fentanyl.
And all they did. Well, the whole thing was. See, this is the thing. It's not a lifestyle. People have a drug problem. The goal, like in Europe, when they did it in Portugal. Mm-hmm. It was like, okay, if it's legal, but if you're going to shoot up, you can't do it on the streets. You have to go to clinics. You have to do these things. You have to work to get on. Otherwise, you're going to go to jail.
Right.
Everywhere else, they're like, do whatever. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
My librarian, she hasn't checked out a book in 8 months because nobody goes into the library anymore. But you know what? She's got a lot of Narcan that she's been giving out. That's not a good thing.
No.
Oh, Lord. Coming up, who knows what? It'll be fun, I promise you that. More on non-binary Indiana Jones. It's the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics. You guys hear me talk about it all the time. It's about your dog. Right now, there's a great thing they're doing. It's a 90-day challenge, and they want you to take it. Put them to the test. And so you get a free Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens when you use my name, Chad. When you go to ruffgreens.com, type in code Chad. So what ends up happening is they send it out to you. It's 1 scoop a day. It's $20 value. It's free. You just have to cover the cost of shipping and watch what happens. Over 90 days, you're going to see a dramatic change in your dog. First 30 days, more energy, better coat. By day 60, their aches and pains in their limbs, they're going to be loosened up because of the live nutrients you're putting into the swelling and stuff's going to start to go down. It's going to help with their arthritis. Coat's going to be no shedding. And by day 90, immune system, heart health, all of these things are going to improve. Try a Jumpstart trial bag for now and take the 90-day challenge with Rough Greens. You love your animals like I love my animals. This is going to work for you. Try it now. Go to ruffgreens.com. Use code Chad. ruffgreens.com. Use code Chad.
Tech giant Oracle has just closed on more land on the East Bank where it plans to put its global headquarters. Also, we've got some news about Nashville possibly hosting a Super Bowl. These stories and more coming up at 1300 hours.
Oh, my Lord. 1,300 hours.
What in the world? At 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock with you guys.
On Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, my name is Scout.
Scout. And are you linguistic in 12 different languages that no longer exist? You could be making stuff up. I wouldn't know. It doesn't exist. Somebody said Portland is stupid because you can't pump your own gas. That's one of those things. It's the last state, I think, where you can't pump your gas.
Yeah.
Did you see when New Jersey changed that? Was it last year? And they were going to the place and interview, like, do you know how to do it? They're like, I'm unsure.
I don't know what these buttons do.
I don't know how to do it. Like, how, what? I don't know. Do you stick it in your mouth? How does it work? I don't know.
I think you use this to wash your car, maybe? I don't know.
My goodness. Hey, you remember that Netflix director we talked about yesterday? Did you see what he spent the money on besides cars?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, what?
This is all. He spent $630,000 on mattresses.
That thing better be the most comfy
and about
thing.
$200,000 on bedding.
Wow.
$3.7 million on furniture and antiques.
Jeez. What size mattress? We talking like a king? Or
I have no. Did you get a waterbed? Remember waterbeds?
It's a California king waterbed. It's basically a children's swimming pool.
Oh, I love waterbeds. My aunt had a waterbed. I was like, this is so awesome.
Can't sleep on them, man.
These will never go out of style.
I love seeing all those people who had invested in them. Now they're just like, it sits in my corner.
It's just people. You don't even know, Mace. Like people at water, you can't sleep on them.
No.
Every time you turn, you sink, and it's like being on a wave, right? And it's they were so. And my aunts popped. Come on, one night, it's just leaking everywhere.
I had one of my friends growing up their parents had a guest room that had a waterbed in it.
Oh,
and they said I could sleep in it for the night.
You're still seasick?
Yeah. I was throwing up the next morning. Oh, my goodness.
1570, he said, a waterbed with a mirror on the ceiling. That was super 80s right there. Oh, my Lord.
Late 70s and 80s,
with a black toilet. With a black toilet.
Yeah, the black.
Oh, yeah, baby. I already look disheveled when I wake up in the morning. I don't need to see it right as I open my eyes.
Oh, goodness me. A lot more fun coming up in the next hour. Promise you that, including masculinity. Because Captain America has something to say about that. And you know what? He's damn spot on. It is the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, the Tennessean says tech giant Oracle just bought some more land on the East Bank. It's about 4 acres next to land it has already purchased for its global headquarters. This 4 acres cost $60 million. They bought it from GBT Realty over in Brentwood. This Oracle campus is going to be home to at least 8,500 workers. The tech campus to be connected to Germantown across the Cumberland River by a pedestrian bridge. However, construction hasn't started yet. The East Bank is where the Titans' new stadium is under construction and could someday host a Super Bowl, maybe by 2029. The Tennessean says Governor Lee submitted an official letter of interest to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell to host the 2029 Super Bowl, just like Nashville city leaders submitted a similar letter earlier this month. The Taliban has released an American they seized 2 years ago. George Glesman is an airline mechanic from Atlanta in his mid-60s. He was traveling through Afghanistan as a tourist at the time he was taken. He's the 3rd American detainee to be released by the Taliban since January. It's part of the Taliban trying to get in the United States' good graces at a time when most countries do not recognize it as Afghanistan's ruler. The European Union says it's delaying retaliatory tariffs on the U.S.
The European Union delaying its first counter tariffs against the U.S. until mid-April to allow for additional time for discussions with Washington. The EU's retaliatory tariffs came in response to President Trump's tariffs on European metals. Trump responded to Europe's proposed tariffs by threatening to implement a 200% tariff on alcohol coming from Europe.
That's Inez de la Cutera reporting from the Foreign Desk. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says President Trump will sign an executive order today directing the Secretary of Education to get rid of the Department of Education.
It means stopping the wasteful spending, and as I said, critical programs will be protected.
Not only is this the first day of spring, it's also the United Nations International Day of Happiness. A Gallup World Poll finds that Finland is the happiest country on earth for the 8th year running. The United States, meanwhile, falling out of the top 20 for the first time, landing at number 24.
This is Jim Ryan. If Finland tops the world, who tops the U.S.? Well, based upon
depression rate, income growth rate, average leisure time, commute times.
Chip Lupo of personal finance company Wallet Hub says Fremont, California is happiest based on its income, its low divorce rate, and its mild climate.
Weather does play a factor in happiness.
At the bottom of Wallet Hub's list of 182 happiest places is Cleveland, Ohio.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Bulwark Capital. Later on today, 5:30 our time, 3:30 Pacific. Chance for you to sit down and watch them do a live webinar. It's the first 100 days with Trump. And Bulwark, let me tell you something. If you're into investing, you're just getting into it, maybe you're getting close to retirement, you're in retirement, maybe you're saying, you know what, I'm not happy with what's going on. I need something different. This is not somebody who just builds somebody. My buddy Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer, he just doesn't build, he builds you something specific for you. He builds you out something that meets the needs that you want, and they are incredible. I send everybody there. My little brother's going there today to check it out as well because he's done really well for himself. And he's like, I need somebody who's going to be able to really help me with this thing. I said, dude, Zach is all. The whole family goes there because I know. It is awesome. It's who I trust. And if you're looking for somebody that is going to give you something that you're not going to see anywhere else, it's Bulwark and what they do. Low risk, lower cost, lower volatility, upside potential. And it's not just about buying. You can sell too, which people don't realize. There's ways that you have no idea about diversity until you talk with them. Sign up today. It's a free live webinar. It's 5:30 this afternoon. Go to knowyourriskradio.com, KNOWyourriskradio.com, and sign up now. Investment advisory service offered through Trek Financial LLC and SEC registered investment advisor. Investments involve risk, not a guarantee. Past performance, not guarantee future results. Check 25137. So, a lot of you, by the way, we were talking last hour about that director bought basically $1 million worth of mattresses and bedding, stole it from Netflix. And a lot of you had, which I didn't know, there's plenty of people out there still have waterbeds. So, good for you guys. Well done.
I mean, if you like swimming through your dreams, go for it.
That's it.
Not what I'm looking for.
You thought to yourself, man, I haven't thrown up in my sleep for a while. It's all about a waterbed. Later on today, there will be no more Department of Education. And by that, I mean, it's just another fight. It's everything that goes on at this moment in time in the world of politics will be litigated outside of something that actually passes through Congress. Which is the way things were supposed to be. Executive orders weren't supposed to be used in the way they have been used at times. But the frustration with a lot of people, the fact that we've got inactive and spineless Congress people on both sides of the aisle, very rarely does anything get done the way it should get done. But getting rid of this is spectacular. Morning Joe, only on Morning Joe could something be this stupid.
I think in the modern incarnation of cutting this, they are revealing something to citizens, which is they don't want the most educated citizenry possible because it's not helpful to them. People who can read and understand that climate change is happening are not favorable voters for them. People who can read and understand what they're doing to Medicaid, to Social Security, what Elon Musk is doing, the better your reading comprehension is, the more you might not like what this administration is doing. So an educated citizenry is not in their interest, and they're coming for it.
Because the goal of Trump getting rid of the Department of Education is to make people stupid. And by making people stupid, they'll forget about climate change. And by that, they'll continue to vote for Donald Trump and the likes. Wow. You said that out loud? You were like, when you were running through your head, you're like, I don't know, this feels like I'm going to land this. And everybody around the table is like, he's right. The goal is to make everybody stupid. No. It's to return education even more so back to the states, but really it's about empowering parents, which should have been done all along, and it's about getting rid of the politics. And quite frankly, we need to rethink across the board when it comes to education. Our system is stupid at this point in time. It's nothing to do with the teachers. We're not teaching for the future. We're teaching for tests. We're not teaching for the future. We should be teaching for the future. We should identify where kids are and start moving them towards things that they should be in. This idea that every kid should go to college is no, not every kid should go to college. You want to know how I know? Because my friend Scout here wasted $500,000.
I'm a Scout. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm an interdisciplinary major at UBC. I'm in my last semester. My primary thematic focus is decolonizing academia and public knowledge systems, and my secondary thematic focus is biocultural and linguistic futurity.
For those who don't know what that means, can you give us a quick rundown?
Yeah, basically what I focus on is the promises that the institution has made and also the emergence of indigenous ways of knowing and being across the disciplines. And I feature in a lot of stuff like language revitalization, or the emergent vitality of languages, rather. And just kind of a bunch of stuff. I've taken courses in over 20 departments, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Have you taken a course in fries? Because you might need it.
What are we talking? Canola oil or beef tallow?
Probably beef. It's better for you, right?
Oh, yeah.
She's super educated. Well, they don't want that kind of voter. Nobody wants that kind of voter. Nobody does.
She's educated, but on the wrong topics.
She's just great. You've learned a lot about nothing that nobody cares about. You're the smartest person in the room in a subject that, quite frankly, we don't even know if you're telling the truth because nobody knows about it. But that's what they want, Chad. They want stupid people. That's why the Department of Education is being, disbanded, because that way they can make stupid people. Let me ask you a question. Before 1980, did we have an education system? Anybody? Did we? Ken's about my age. Ken, did you go to school, or was it just farmhouse? Just
I
kind of
went
learned?
right to school.
Okay.
Because I hated it. Yeah. So I knew it every day.
Yeah. So Ken, but that was only until Ken was 7. Then he had to go back to the farm,
That's
barefoot
right.
and all, and start doing his working chores.
Had to ride my tricycle through the snow.
It's this thought of like, well, once we get rid of the Department of Education, there's nobody's going to be educated anymore. That's dumb. You're an idiot for thinking that. Indoctrination? That may not be it. The Department of Education has an outsized influence on the ideas that get into the classroom, not the teaching, because, again, that's state stuff. But the thought of, well, we used to have a Department of Education, but we don't no more, so I don't know how to read. I went to school before the Department of Education was created. Ken went to school, and it wasn't a barn. Maybe it was. I don't know. I went to Minigant.
No, we had air conditioning.
No, look at that. Fantastic. Braggadocious. We didn't need it because we were by the beach, but still. It's only because we were better than you. That was before California lost its mind.
Just because you leave the windows open and the doors open, Ken, doesn't mean it's air conditioning in there.
Yeah, probably.
Hey.
I'm just kidding, man.
Hey, you had a lot of hay. You had to because you had to feed the horses. How else am I going to get back and forth to school?
I'm going to go back and look up those teachers.
They don't look like they do now, I'll tell you that. Did they ever produce a teacher under 50 when we were kids?
Dude, I had a Army sergeant as a math teacher in the 4th grade. He would come in. This was Marshall, Texas, East Texas. When he would come in for math, he would start singing 1 times 1 is 1. And we would go all the way through the times tables.
Oh, wow.
And that man scared me to death.
Yeah, that's understandable.
You had Arlie Emery?
But you know what? He turned out to be one of my favorite teachers.
He's all Private Pile Weaver.
Yeah. I mean, man, he scared me to death. That dude, he was Mr. Wilburn. Turned out to be a great guy.
I had Mrs. Winston. She was this big lady. She'd squeeze she had big old nails. And my mom's like, what'd you do? I'm like, oh, Mrs. Winston was mean to me. She's like, what'd you do? Like, that was what happened back then, right?
Exactly.
It was never like, oh, my kid didn't do anything. Because like, you probably deserved it.
Right.
But we loved her because her husband played for the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. So, and their son went on and played in the NFL as well. But it was this insanity that we aren't going to have education. Again, the Congress has to do this. Executive order isn't going to fly. And Trump knows that. All of these things are done in a certain way. But the panic, right? The clutching of pearls. Oh, my God. Get over it. It's going to be fine. We still might learn from this. Many of you who are probably a little bit longer in the tooth understand that you guys went to school when there wasn't a Department of Education. And the numbers have gone down. Now, look, can I make an argument why some of the numbers have gone down? Yes, of course. We've got a lot of people here who English isn't their first language, especially in very large school districts. We have a lot of people here whose parents don't care anymore about college. We have a lot of people here who, it's on the extreme ends of both. We're average with the world. It's that middle part, which builds America, that you find some of the issues. But our numbers have collapsed. They've absolutely collapsed. And you can't blame COVID anymore. You can't. And COVID was a big driver in a lot of this. You always had Republicans going, let's get rid of the department, let's get rid of everything. That was all talk. But Trump came along, and then that talk got a little bit louder, and then, of course, COVID hit. And then people got to see what was happening in schools. And somebody just asked me, who decides what gets taught in classroom? That's schools. Schools get to decide. I mean, that's the states. They decide what gets taught in the classroom. But so much of that curriculum and so much of that influence and getting some of that money and some of that stuff is done top down from the Department of Education. You have to, it's a pain in the butt. It really is. But they have a huge influence on a lot of the other stuff, including all of the programs like the NGOs and, hey, so-and-so's coming in and how to teach certain things. Not what you're teaching, but how teaching is going. So, alas, here we are. I do believe, and this is just me, that Trump will lose in court on this one, and it's going to go to the Supreme Court, just like pretty much everything is. And we're like the USAID and anything Congress is involved in, for the most part, they're going to have to fix. Anything Congress is involved in, they're going to have to fix. And Department of Education's one, USAID, those are, if Congress has money attached to it, they're the purse strings, whether people like it or not. And they've been riding on Elon and Trump's executive orders and Doge running around doing stuff. You might have to do something, but you just don't have the votes. And they recognize that. They're all going to run out and scream. I wish somebody would just come out and go, you guys know it's going to court, right? Yeah. You guys know it's going to probably be overturned, right? And they don't even have 60 votes, so we have nothing to worry about, right? Okay, then. So the screaming and yelling is nothing. It isn't. Oh, my Lord. A lot of people very excited about Scout. State of Texas and the school book manufacturers decide what gets taught in schools. Yes, I mean, yeah, states do. Yeah, states absolutely do. It's interesting because some of the other stuff that happens is, and it's frustrating because I have a lot of friends who are teachers, and my friends' wives are teachers. One of my good buddies, he's a teacher. He's like, yeah, you do tend to start teaching towards testing, which we need to understand. Yeah, we need to see where you're doing well at, where you're struggling. But when you're teaching more to pass a test rather than trying to learn, that's frustrating. And that's why I would love to see an overhaul altogether. I mean, you look at a kid who's like 14 or 15, and you're like, man, that kid is great with his hands, or that person's brilliant in mathematics. They should be hyper-focusing on that. They don't need 14 hours a week of, some useless class that they're never going to use. Get them double, triple math stuff. We just don't do that anymore. We just everything's about let's teach in this box and so weird. That's why C students do so well in life. Because we're like, we don't like the box, and I may not be in class tomorrow.
At least they're honest, though.
I was always honest. Hey, if I don't show up and take that test, am I still going to pass? Yep. You have a good weekend, sir. It's Tuesday. Have a good weekend. Oh, geez. Coming up, masculinity.
That's toxic.
Very much so. We talked about it. We're going to talk about it again, how toxic it is. Because all of this right here, I could smell the masculinity in these rooms. It's the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Twitch. Do you have a twitch in your back? The Wellness Institute of Nashville will fix that. Right now, in honor of the 47th president, 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, they'll take care of you. You want this summer, we're in spring now. It doesn't feel like it, but we're in spring. Don't you want to be able to get out there and do the stuff you used to do? Let the Wellness Institute of Nashville help. All right? So you're going to get 47% off. So there's no pills. There's no spinal creams, right? There's no voodoo or magic. It's about technology. Machines are incredible. They're going to take the pressure off your nerves. So what happens is then all of that stuff that happens in the machine starts to heal the disc by opening the disc, right? So the blood and the nutrition can get to the area that's right. They're going to build you a program that is right for you that's going to get you feeling great. And it is. You've tried everything else. Yeah, that's right. You tried the rest. Now it's time for the best. The Wellness Institute of Nashville. So what I want you to do, call them today. Tell Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, I sent you 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or check them out online at painisbad.com.
Starting later this month, Social Security is going to require more in-person visits to fight fraud. We'll tell you what that's going to mean coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You know, it'd be hilarious if you went in there and there was just a giant, huge, like, animatronic fraud, and you had to fight it to get to the Social Security line.
Yeah, just like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Just like that. I didn't even know what fraud would look like. It's all dressed up like a furry, and you have to fight it. Chad, you're toxic. Anthony Mackie, he is the Falcon, not Hawk. Hawk shoots the arrows, right?
Hawkeye, yeah. Hawkeye shoots
Is he
the
good
arrows.
with arrows?
He's good.
Okay.
He's pretty good.
He's like Robin Hood?
A little better.
Okay.
A little better.
And then what's her name? She just did kicks, right? That's all she did? She looked hot in leather and did kicks.
Oh, Black Widow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Hawk is Captain America. He was on The Pivot, which is a podcast, and it was interesting. It was an hour-long podcast. I watched a lot of it. It was really, really interesting. And he started talking about his kids.
I keep my boys humble. Like, my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. You know, my boys don't do all that internet fly shit. I'm like, your kids. And no, I don't give a I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid. Mm-hmm. Do not. And my oldest gets it. My 15-year-old, he tells the other ones, he's like, yo, don't make dad mad. Because once you get one that's right, he's going to straighten the other ones out.
Absolutely. So very true. But then he started talking about masculinity. As Ken said, toxic. As you and I and everybody else know, not toxic, absolutely necessary.
So it's just that thing of, in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities, for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that. Right. But my boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you. They will always open the door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men. And that's always since they were 2 years old. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you're the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked every night, this alarm is on, you text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up.
I love that.
Because we're men. If I'm not there to protect, he got to be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, climb through the window, that money means nothing. Right. You can have all the celebrity in the world, jump through the door, that celebrity means nothing. Yeah. So you got to have a little guard in there, you know? And So for me, it's always that idea of American masculinity is very different.
Masculinity is important. My son is yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, man. Thank you very much. Shake the hand, look in the eyes. Being a parent is the most important thing I will ever do in my life. Everything else pales in comparison to it. My daughter's super proud of. I will tell you, we need more of this. And in the black community that has suffered the most, Matt and I were talking the other day because he does the, what's the program he works with? Men of Valor?
Men of Valor, yeah.
And I said, as we were chatting about that, I said, I bet you a vast majority of those guys, man, they didn't have dads in the home. They didn't. And we're built different for a reason. There's a great study out, and it's been brought up again over the last couple of weeks about like as the reality sets in, ladies. This you understand this because you guys are not insane. But I try to explain this to some of the younger kids who don't quite get this. It's a nature thing as well, right? Not just like sports. We're bigger, stronger. Of course we are. It's the way it is. Do you know that women and men, so they're married, they have a kid. The baby starts crying. Women will instinctively hear it get up because nature says that. And most times men will sleep through it. Not always, but most times. When things happen outdoors, even if it's just the rustling of the wind and leaves, men inherently will wake up because inherently their, through nature, first response is there a threat that I need to take care of?
Yeah, how many times have you heard something crashing downstairs and halfway down the stairs, I find myself thinking, what if there is someone down here?
That's it.
Well, I mean, I'm just going.
But yes, because that's it, right? Like my first response is, God, where am I going to bury this guy? But it's my kids, and you and I talked about it the other day. If it's a bear, I'm fighting the bear.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I'm probably going to get eaten. But you know what? My kids will go, Dad gave us a chance. Dad helped us live. Dad sacrificed. That's it. Now, if it's a girl you don't like, you grab the kids and you run away faster than they are, and it's a win. I'm kidding, of course, ladies. Even if it's somebody I don't like. And here's the thing. If I'm on the street and there was a bear coming, it's a woman I don't know, instinctively, I'm going to go and try to help. I'm going to go protect. That's not toxic masculinity. That's masculinity. That's what keeps the roads going, even though we have issues here. The lights on. That's what keeps that stuff going on. And it's not about, oh, you're weaker. It's about we're different. And the man, especially in America, has been devalued. And in the black culture, it's been absolutely obliterated thanks to liberal white guilt. Coming up. A lot of good stuff still. Ken would fight the bear naked. Well, that's an odd thing to say.
I absolutely would.
You want to do this? The bear's like, yeah. And you take your clothes off, and you'd be like, well, I'm like, unless you're Winnie the Pooh, you don't have a shirt on, bro. We're doing this naked.
It turned tail and run.
So funny. You know, there'd be some dude who would take his shirt off, too, if he saw a bear. Like, the bear's going to go, oh, my God, I know you worked out so much. Oh, you people are crazy. Coming up, lots of stuff still to get to, kids. If you're listening to the program, we have a podcast. We've got Twitter. We've got Twitch. We've got YouTube. Like, subscribe. Check out my YouTube as well, Chad Benson Show. But make sure you tell your friends. And the more that you like and subscribe, the more there's a chance that we're going to send Chris to Vacation Bible School. He's very excited about that. And then, of course, we've also got Facebook. We do not have Rumble yet. That is coming, though. We promise.
Give me a Rumble account.
I think I have one. I think I signed up for it and then never did anything with it.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat there.
Yeah. So there we go. We should all get a Rumble account. So soon you'll hear about our Rumble account. It is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
.1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Kingston Springs in Cheatham County. We've got a crash, drivers. It's on the right shoulder, but you're going to have to get over for first responders. It's 40 eastbound past Kingston Springs, Ashland City Highway 249, exit 188. And then over on the East Loop downtown going westbound. Got a crash reported by police there at Shelby Avenue. Right now in Nashville, the Tennessean says tech giant Oracle is closed on $60 million worth of land on the East Bank. It's right next to land it has already purchased for its global headquarters. This other piece of land's only about 4 acres. The first piece of land was around 60 acres. This campus will be home to at least 8,500 workers. Construction has yet to start. The East Bank is where the Titans' new stadium is being built, which could someday host a Super Bowl. And the Tennessean says Governor Lee has submitted an official letter of interest to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell to host the one in 2029. The Taliban has released an American they seized 2 years ago. George Glesman, an airline mechanic from Atlanta in his mid-60s, was traveling through Afghanistan as a tourist at the time. Well, he's the third American detainee to be released by the Taliban since January. The Taliban trying to get in the United States' good graces at a time when most countries do not recognize it as Afghanistan's ruler. And the European Union says it's going to delay retaliatory tariffs on the U.S.
The European Union delaying its first counter tariffs against the U.S. until mid-April to allow for additional time for discussions with Washington. The EU's retaliatory tariffs came in response to President Trump's tariffs on European metals. Trump responded to Europe's proposed tariffs by threatening to implement a 200% tariff on alcohol coming from Europe.
And we're waiting for President Trump to sign an executive order the White House says will direct the Secretary of Education to move toward closing the Federal Department of Education. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Beacon Capital Management, retirement ready toolkit. Means you're probably close to retirement or in retirement. And now you're thinking to yourself, am I going to have enough? Well, let Beacon help you. Great thing about Beacon is they're local. You go shake their hands and say hi to them. A lot of people are worried out there about what's going on. And Beacon can help you relax a little bit and help you get through the fears. And it's what's great about Beacon. It's what I want you to do. Call 615-488-9303 today. They're going to get you out of retirement ready toolkit. Now, in this, it is going to have a Money Enough for Life book, a retirement planning checklist, and a maximizing your retirement income white paper. Now, there's no cost or obligation and no pressure. It's about making sure that you understand where you're headed and that, you know, the last thing you really want to do is unretire because you have to. Let Beacon help you with that. Get your retirement ready toolkit today. Call 615-488-9303. That's 615-488-9303 or online at askbeaconnow.com. A lot of you chiming in about our toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity. There's toxic femininity, right? If you're going to say people, you know what it is? It's people. Some people are toxic. Everybody knows people that are toxic, right? You don't want them in your life. They're around you for whatever reason every once in a great while. And there's a sell-by date in any kind of relationship or time you could spend with them because everything goes to hell. Everything they do is toxic. They poison, whether they're standing at the water cooler talking to people, it doesn't matter if you're a man or woman or non-binary. It's those people are just a pain in the butt. Has nothing to do with gender or the color of your skin, who you love, who you don't love, any of that stuff. It's just some people are toxic. Some people are angry. Right, angry guy? This guy's super angry. You're going to love him. I think thank you very much. Finally.
We're not mad enough yet to take to the streets en masse and protest what is being taken from us. What we have taken for granted here in America is truly being ripped away from us. And I know most of you understand that. But it is time for us to speak with our feet and go into the street.
Taking it to the street, taking it to the street. He's not done.
If you are not mad enough, let's add this fuel to the fire. The Trump administration deported a Venezuelan man from the United States to El Salvador, where he will be put in a prison camp that will make money for the El Salvadorian government from us. Our tax dollars are going to be a profit incentive to enchain a man in a foreign country he is not from. Does that not disturb you to your core?
Does it disturb you, sir? Because it feels like there's a little uncomfortable. Look, I want due process. I do want to know, did we get it right? And every one of you listening right now, even though, look, we're all behind Trump. I want him to succeed. I think he's going to win this in court. I think he understands that. I think Stephen Miller's went out and he realized, look, we got this. And there's been some precedents for it, and it's been held up. So this is good. But you also want to get it right. And if you got it wrong, you want to fix it. Because God bless government. Good, you think, my side's a good side. Well, your side's not infallible. Both sides think the other side's infallible. But guess what? It's the same damn team.
Why was this man deported? Because he was seeking political asylum. Something the United States has long held as a torch and beacon of who we are, as a source of liberty, of protection from political tyranny. Why was he singled out? Because of his tattoos. A man was robbed of his freedom and life and striving to be here because of a misinterpretation of his tattoos. I will remind you.
I will remind you, sir.
What a nut job.
He's got to drive that point home.
He's not finished. He's got one more for us.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk are constantly telling us that we're simply misinterpreting their salutes, their symbols, even Donald Trump's words. Well, I didn't mean. You cannot take what I say seriously. Elon says you cannot take my salute seriously or the symbols I post on social media. Yet they are saying a man's tattoos that aren't even a symbol of being a gang can be misinterpreted to the point of his liberty being taken from him. No evidence of a crime. Nothing that would stand up in court. Where are you to scream that the big brother, the United States government, has showed up with armed men in masks and guns, dragging people for no reason?
If I was there, I'd be like, is this like a one-man play? Because I feel like it's a play. It's very upset. Should be. Look, I want to get it right. You should want to get it right too. There were people sent to Gitmo. Remember we were like, hey, we're sending people to Gitmo because we don't have enough beds? Well, some of them, they shouldn't have been sent there. We don't want to make mistakes happen. Somebody just asked, don't you trust the ICE agents at Border Patrol? I trust them to take in the people that are there, but it's not their job to decide on the spot you are guilty of something. That's not their gig. That'd be like having Judge Dredd. Right? Like, or somebody, you get to decide. No, it's not the way it works. And we want to be better. That's the thing. We need to be better. We need to be better because everybody's always looking and say, look at the mistakes. The mistakes will happen. It's how do you rectify the mistake? And the problem in so many ways, too, with government is government hates to say they're sorry. Like they do. They hate to say they're wrong. It's what we always talk about with weed. The government will never go back and go, yeah, sorry. Probably wasn't as bad as we thought it was. But they're never going to do that. They're never going to say they made those mistakes. That's tough for them to do. So, yes, getting it right is important. And I don't think that Trump, in malice of heart, said, just throw everybody who's brown in some sort of airplane and fly him to El Salvador. I don't think any of that stuff, which is the way it's being portrayed. That's why you have to go out there and you fight it. You do. And you push back. Because I've seen, people asking serious questions, even people on the right, as they should. Because we should also ask our questions. Because we would want any kind of process that was done right. And that's what it should be. Absolutely. 100%. And I like the fact that that person's crazy. He's not happy because he makes me laugh. Happiest places in the world. Are you ready for them? We have got it. I wonder where, we know where that guy, he's not very happy. Let's see where we're ranked.
The U.S. is the 24th happiest country, according to the World Happiness Report. That's the lowest ranking ever for the red, white, and blue. The country's best performance came back in 2012 when it ranked 11th overall. Afghanistan was named the unhappiest country this year. Finland was the most happy, its 8th consecutive year topping the list.
Woo! By the way, just to let you know, Afghanistan let go an idiot who was on tour over there. Do you think he was on one of those wacky tours that people take where they go to places like Chernobyl? Those danger. Have you seen those danger tours where they go, I'm going to go here and stuff. And, because I'm going to go to a war zone.
Living on the edge.
Living on the edge. Whoa, baby. So, but they're still the unhappiest people in the world, Afghanistan. Oh, God, who would have thought? Now, we're 24th. Mexico's happier than we are. Think about that. Maybe we should go over there.
They get tacos all the time, though.
I love tacos. I get tacos all the time. Now, let's talk about the United States itself. Are you guys ready?
Just as Nordic countries dominate the list of world's happiest places, California has the top 3 spots in the U.S., led by Fremont near San Francisco. On the bottom,
Memphis, Tennessee, Detroit, Michigan, Cleveland, Ohio.
Says Chip Lupo of Wallet Hub.
They all have very high unemployment rates, but also high poverty rates.
Lupo's research finds that someone making $75,000 a year is about as happy as someone making $200,000.
Money doesn't buy happiness.
At least above the poverty line. Jim.
You know what? Settle down on money doesn't buy happiness. I think it was a great Daniel Tosh. It does buy a jet ski, and I've never seen anybody not smile on a jet ski. Money, here's what money buys you. Peace of mind. All of us have had some friends who've had money, and some of them may be miserable. You know what? They'd be miserable poor. They're miserable. How many rock stars do you see that are miserable? They got everything going for them. Doesn't matter. Yes, sir.
That's why a lot of them turn to drugs.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
Looking for something to fill that hole.
They're filling a void. Something's wrong. So the happiness side of it, a lot of it does come from within, but the stress is a situation where you're stressed out because of bills and living paycheck to paycheck, all that. That is a different thing. Peace of mind. Now, peace of mind will help you, right? Like if you got money and you got peace of mind, you're going to be a little bit. It's easier to be a little bit happier longer. But money also enhances who you are. If you're a jerk, you're a super jerk with money. If you're a good person, you're Keanu Reeves with money. It's a good dude. It's a good dude. Memphis. Sad Memphis. Sad Memphis. Somebody's all, Fremont, California? The average home in Fremont is $1.6 million.
Goodness.
Jeez.
So yeah. So people around there are probably not worried about where their next meal's coming from because, it's here's the thing about California. If you are middle class or poor, it's tough to live there. If you're rich, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, it's awesome. You could look at the ocean all day. It's great.
Is there even any fire threat in Fremont?
Nah, not really.
So it's Northern California.
It's NoCal.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like if you're, it's at 1.6 million, man, that's a good chunk of change. And that's like they're probably taking in like the condos because probably the average single family home is probably $3.5 million.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're spending $21,000 a month on mortgage, you're probably not worried about stuff, right? It's not like, honey, I don't think we're going to make it this month.
You're not living off can of beans.
No. You should have thought of that before you bought a $14 million home.
Do we have another box of spaghetti?
I still eat like that, so it doesn't matter.
I do too, man.
I mean, it doesn't.
I'll eat spaghetti all week.
I could eat tacos and spaghetti every day. If I won the lottery and won $150 million, do you know how much my life would change, lifestyle?
None.
Zero.
I probably wouldn't even buy a new car because I just don't care. I don't care about cars.
I'd probably get the nicer tomato sauce.
Probably. I might get that Paul Newman stuff I've been hearing so much.
That's right. I'd ditch the great value and go with Paul Newman.
Great value. Do you have even better than great value? Like, boy, let me show you over here. This is Prego.
I was about to say.
This is Paul Newman. Have you thought about Barilla? Holy goodness me.
Dude, my wife and I, man, I mean, we do a crock pot on Sunday, and I mean, we eat on that thing until Tuesday.
Man.
Then I'll just do another one on Wednesday, get us through the week.
Do you want a roast or are you doing like chicken and stuff?
I'll do chicken or roast.
Man, a good roast sounds good right now, man.
Yeah, crock potting's great, man.
It's so good.
It's easy. You just throw everything together.
Crock pot is what I like to call a white trash candle. It smells incredible.
Yes,
like if you want your house to smell like stew all day, it's a crock pot, baby.
Absolutely, man.
And I love crock pots.
Yeah, don't let them run all day, for 3 days in a row, though.
No. You got to switch it up. But I'm telling you, if you want your house, if you want to just go, honey, what are you wearing? Stew.
Man, you know what I discovered last Christmas?
What?
Hot chocolate crock pot.
Oh!
Yeah, you were telling us about that.
Oh,
yeah.
I crock potted some hot chocolate, man. I gained about 10 pounds, I bet, that week.
Somebody
Just
said
dropping full chocolate bars.
Somebody said, Barilla, quit being bougie. Rao, too. Rao tomato sauce.
Good.
That's what I was thinking. Oh, that's when I'm feeling good, right? Like, that's when that month you get the 3 paychecks because there's every other week and there's that. Oh, that's
there's
when you buy Rao.
It's like, we're coming up on tax return time. It's like, oh, yeah. I got 2 jars this year.
Oh, baby. Like, honey, we're going out tonight. Oh, where? We're going to go get some amazing Italian food. Where? Oh, maybe Buca di Beppo, but probably. Settle down, honey. You ever been in the Pope room?
No, I haven't.
So I don't know if they have.
We don't have Buca di Beppo here.
So, but the Buca di Beppo, they have a Pope room where you sit in there, and the table goes in a circle, so it's like one of those lazy Susans, and the Pope's head is on it, and as you spin it, the head just looks at you. It's fantastic.
It's so funny.
God, see, that's living large, guys.
See, In-N-Out's coming to Tennessee. I want Buca di Beppo to come here.
Oh my God! Everybody, just take a deep breath. I know we're making you guys hungry, and you're listening to us talk about all the big extravagances we have
perfect
here. This is why we're happy. They didn't ask us in the damn survey, did they? It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9, all this incredible stuff. So I think you guys should try Rough Greens. I love my dogs, and they're well past the 90-day challenge, which is going on with Rough Greens right now. So you can get a free Jumpstart trial bag when you go to roughgreens.com and use code CHAD. So when you go and you do that and use code CHAD, they're going to get you out a bag of Rough Greens free. All you have to ask you to do is cover the cost of shipping. Now, it's once a day. You sprinkle it on the food. You watch what happens. Your dog's coat's going to be fuller. Their energy level, their hips, especially if your dog's a little longer in a tooth, their aches and their pains, their mobility, you're going to see a huge jump in that. And their heart and their immune system. It's incredible. And I swear by my dogs swear by it. And if you're thinking, my dog's long in the tooth, I worry about him and vet bills, try Rough Greens and see what happens. Take the 90-day challenge, get a Jumpstart trial bag for free right now. All they ask you to do is cover the cost of shipping. RUFFgreens.com. Go there now. Use code CHAD. Roughgreens.com. Use code CHAD.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
At least 3 people now charged with federal crimes for firebombing Tesla dealerships. And we'll tell you who's one and done in the men's college basketball tournament coming up at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
In a world of pure imagination.
What'll you need to enter that world? A golden ticket, of course, and some skill to withstand the games, tests, and temptations designed to move you to the next level in Netflix's new Charlie and the Chocolate Factory themed reality show.
You lose! Good day, sir! You why?
It'll be called Golden Ticket and will take place in what the streamer says will be a retro futuristic landscape. It's unclear as of now whether Oompa Loompas are involved.
Is that midgets? Small people? Littles?
Hey, whoa. I don't know if you can say that.
The tinies?
Little fellas.
Little fellas. You had sex with the little guy, right? From Fargo. Do you remember even in the latest Willy Wonka, they didn't use little people. And they used they used Hugh Grant.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, man.
Wow, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, well, you didn't realize that Hugh didn't live inside of he's not 18 inches tall. How'd you date that hooker?
That's the Timothée Chalamet one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, that goes back to, well, we don't want to offend anybody, so we're just going to not let you guys work.
Yeah. Oh.
Huh? Am I doing well for you? Yeah, you're doing great. God, stop speaking for other people.
Let them talk.
There you go. Let them talk. I didn't see him. Sorry. Coming up next hour, a lot of stuff. Settle down, everybody. It's a joke. We're going to talk a little bit about basketball. I've got our picks. We're going to do a little bit of that. Talk a bit about a year ago. Another company was under fire. We'll talk about that as well. If you're missing the show, go to the podcast. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
It is 2 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Election 2026. Congressman John Rose is officially launching his bid for governor of Tennessee, right now holding a news conference at the 4-H and FFA building in his district. We'll get you some more details on that. Vandals have been hitting Tesla cars and dealerships recently as a way to protest Elon Musk and his efforts to dismantle the federal workforce, part of the Department of Government Efficiency, which President Trump tapped him to direct. Attorney General Pam Bondi calling it domestic terrorism today, announcing 3 people now facing federal charges. General Bondi says one of the people charged had an AR-15 when they threw about 8 Molotov cocktails at a Tesla dealership in Salem, Oregon. Starting later this month, Social Security going to require more in-person visits to fight fraud. That starts March 31st. Beneficiaries who cannot use online tools are going to need to go to a Social Security office with proof of identity. An estimated 73 million retired and disabled Americans get Social Security checks each month, according to Reuters. And right now in Nashville, got some news about development and jobs. The Tennessean says Oracle just closed on more land on the East Bank where it will build its new global headquarters. This latest purchase is $60 million for about 4 acres from GBT Realty in Brentwood. This sits right next to the 60 acres Oracle bought for $254 million back in 2021. Oracle says its new headquarters in Nashville will employ at least 8,500 workers. And Nashville's building a new stadium on the East Bank. And the Tennessean says Governor Lee just submitted a letter of official interest to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell to host the 2029 Super Bowl. Today's noon deadline is passed for the U.S. government to provide a district judge more details about the deportation flights of alleged Venezuelan gang members over the weekend. It's not yet known whether the Justice Department has defied that judge's order. Here's ABC News senior Washington reporter Devin Dwyer with more.
There's a legal battle going on about the judge himself. The administration is seeking to challenge the judge's ability to even ask questions about who was on those planes, which, of course, would set a huge precedent in this country as a nation of rule of law laws for following procedures when simply shuttling people out of the country with no questions asked.
Well, the Taliban has released an American tourist they seized 2 years ago. Yeah, George Glesman, an airline mechanic from Atlanta in his mid-60s, traveling across Afghanistan, was taken by the Taliban, but he is headed home today, the third American detainee to be released by the group since January. And men's college basketball tournament action. Sorry, Cards. You're one and done. Creighton beating Louisville.
Yes!
89-75.
I got Creighton. I picked him.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Department of Education will be no more. They say they're going to have pomp and circumstance. Department of Education getting rid of the pomp and the circumstance. Bye-bye, Department of Education. And I'm going to say this. Bye-bye meaning see you in court. Because this is America. And even if it's not something to do with the likes of Donald Trump or Elon Musk, we have turned court into our Olympic sport. See you in court. But it will be, in theory, executive ordered away. But in reality, see you in court.
But we're talking about the Department of Education, as you just heard. Why do Republicans support the dismantling of the Department of Education?
Well, what's the value add? What value add does the federal Department of Education bring when you return power to states? And as a governor, I can tell you that's very important. And it's not just the money, it's the control, how those dollars are spent. All the red tape that comes with the federal Department of Education when it comes to special ed, school choice, homeschooling, charter schools, whatever it might be. Let states have those options. Look, I might disagree. I'll use an extreme example. I might disagree with Gavin Newsom in California on a lot of things.
What?
But believe me, California knows what their students need a heck of a lot better than a bunch of bureaucrats in Washington. So and this isn't just a MAGA idea, guys. This is empowering parents, teachers, that better communication at the local level, driving curriculum at a localized level for the needs of that community. That's it. So it's good. It's a great idea.
But here's the pushback that we hear, and here's one of the facts: the Department of Education is prohibited from telling states how to educate.
Yeah, it's prohibited, but they have an outsized influence on the classroom. There is no doubt about that. Absolutely. An outside influence on the classroom when it comes to things like, whether it's depending on what they call it, right? Like it's CRT, it's DEI, it's just, all of them. It's feelings. We're teaching with feeling. Those things come from the top. Plus, we were fine. Education starts at home. You always heard that, right? Education's important. It starts at home. And it's important that parents are involved. And that's a lot of what happened during COVID. Parents got involved. They started seeing what was going on. And even though the states themselves are in charge of what happens in the classroom, they were just uncomfortable all around with a lot that was happening. And they got very frustrated. And the Department of Education takes a far greater lead and has a far, like somebody like, Weingart and stuff, has this, Randy Weingart has this overreach through a lot of the stuff on the federal side. And a vast majority of that stuff also has to do with loans and things like that. But there was something prior to the Department of Education, and we did okay. And John Sununu there's right. Like, California knows what California needs. Tennessee, we know what Tennessee needs. Let New York deal with New York. Kentucky deal with Kentucky, and so on. Now, if Kentucky was like all the kids learned was, horse racing and basketball, well, that'd be an interesting thing. Maybe you're like, maybe not. If all our kids learned was country music. It's like, but no, everybody, we did okay before this. This just became more bureaucracy, as he said, more red tape, but also the influence of the programs. And everyone's like, well, kids aren't going to get this, or nobody's going to be, the Disabilities Act covers so much of this. And so many of these things were, even prior to this that were around, were covered and handled by other agencies inside the government. Karen Lynn Levitt. Let's see what she's all about. I wonder if she's going to be nice. Sometimes I got to be honest, she's a little pithy. She can be pithy.
Where was their criticism of our nation's failing test scores for the last several decades? The Department of Education was founded in the 1970s, and since then we have spent more than $3 trillion at this federal bureaucracy. What has been the return on that investment for the American taxpayer? Levels that are less than ideal, less than proficient. Our children's test scores are incredibly concerning when it comes to reading rates, literacy rates, math, and science test scores. The numbers prove that, and this president is finally taking much needed action to return education to where it belongs, and that's to educators closest to students in their classrooms in their respective states.
Yes, which is great. It doesn't mean they're going to get it right. Somebody sent something about, Texas has a big battle because, like anything else, lobbyists get involved. And the textbook folks in Texas have the textbook people have a big lobby, and they have a lot of power, a lot of money. So, but that's where choice comes in. And it's funny, somebody just sent me something that was Kentucky, since they're going to learn about distilling. It's not very nice. About, when you look at the academic scores globally, and Hong Kong, then U.S. Asians, and Singapore, and U.S. whites, and Japan, and Taiwan, and you know what? You look at this and you're like, yeah, well, Asians, if we're going to be honest, their parents, right? The tiger mom is not a joke. My mother and I were talking about this the other day. So my little brother, Spencer, he is not a valedictorian, although we always joke he is. He's 21. He wasn't supposed to make it 21 hours, let alone 21 years. He has cerebral palsy. He eats and drinks out of a tube in his stomach. He breathes out of a tube in his mouth. He has brain damage. And the fact that he's still alive and he's got this personality, smiles, he's never said a word in his life. He goes to school, and the school that they work with is a school that's by my mother's house. It's called Oxford Academy. Oxford Academy, I think this past year was number 1 or 2 in the country for schools. And so all of these kids do things with them. So like they'll have basketball night and the whole school's there. And we always joke about, my mom saw, what is it? All of these kids have like a 4.5. For the most part, they're Asian. And this looks great on their application. Not that they don't like the kids, but that's a lot of what they do. But you know why? Because their mom and dads push them. Education is important. It's important to what they do. It is. It's important to what they do. And so they make it a priority. It does begin at home. And that's why choice is important, because why should a kid who's black or white or brown or Asian, who's stuck in a poor community with a piss poor school, be stuck going there trying to get an education when he may be the only one in class that cares? We shouldn't hamstring them. We shouldn't. And I'm a big believer in choice across the board. That includes public school. It's frustrating. So it's not just about the teaching and the test, and that's all we teach for and stuff. There's a lot that goes into it. And yes, you cannot say, oh, parents they're super important. But there's also plenty of ways to get an education. And there's also, and this is vitally important, and I remind everybody of this, you get to a certain level. So in Europe, at 16, you make a choice. You go on to, so there's 2 things. There's college. So there's 6th form of college. And then there's university. University is what we call college over here. You make that choice. You may go on and get A levels and O levels, which are kind of like, think of it kind of junior college-y. Or you go out and you either get a job, but most of the time it's an apprenticeship. So if you want to be a glazer, and they start identifying you at like 14. They're like, hey, look, you're not great in the classroom, but you're great with your hands. And they might look at somebody who's 14 and go, this person is incredible with their, math. So they might start pushing them towards that, where they're not going to be working so much in other areas that really are going to benefit them. And that includes everything. That's what when I went over to Europe to play soccer when I was a kid, I was an apprentice, because that was part of the job. To get that job, you're what they call a youth boy. And part of it was they'd make us go to, school for a little while, and we all laughed because we went to school like once a week, and it counted the same. But still, because we were doing stuff all day. We're cleaning the stadiums, doing the laundry, training with the full-time professionals, and as well as training with our own teams. But that was part of it, because they've identified something, and you make that choice, which is we've got to think outside the box in the way that we educate for the long term. And some people make poor choices. Case in point, this lady.
Hi, I'm a scout. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm an interdisciplinary major at UBC. I'm in my last semester. My primary thematic focus is decolonizing academia and public knowledge systems, and my secondary thematic focus is biocultural and linguistic futurity.
For those who don't know what that means, can you give us a quick rundown?
Yeah, basically what I focus on is the promises that the institution has made, and also the emergence of indigenous ways of knowing and being across the disciplines. And I feature in a lot of stuff like language revitalization, or the emergent vitality of languages, rather, and just kind of a bunch of stuff. I've taken courses in over 20 departments, so.
Okay,
yeah.
Awesome.
Gotcha. Scout. Oh, Scout. The non-binary Indiana Jones. Ken looked up what all that crap was earlier. And what was the salary starting at $5 going up to $21?
$5 up to $21 an hour.
Oh, man, that is solid. You know what? It's $5 an hour because you can also work off tips because, hey, making whipped cream with hot chocolate ain't easy, baby. That right there was a joke. That person's a real person. They went to school and they chose something ridiculous like that. Ridiculous. I would be so embarrassed if that was my kid. I would say, oh, my kid got kidnapped at school. It was horrible. They replaced her with this. It's a rethink is good. And there's nothing wrong with changing. And the Department of Education, it's not all the Department of Education's fault. And our grades are suffering. And we're past the COVID era BS. We have a lot of stuff going on that we need to figure out. And we've got to get back to teaching the basics and then focusing on strengths. It's so important. We miss out in so many things in today's world where we're pushing kids towards stupid things that they're never going to use. It's about being well-rounded. No, it's not. Be the master of something. Like if they would have told, like you love radio, right, Mason? I mean, you're not just here for the laugh. If they would have told you at 16, this was going to be your jam, you would have just, and you can go to school, you could just start working as an apprentice and going here. You would have done it all day.
I would have jumped in this 1,000 times over. Yeah.
I mean, why we're not doing, well, what if it doesn't work out? Well, the what ifs, like what did Trump say? What if a bomb falls on your head right now? We can't live in a world of what ifs.
Yeah. You don't learn, you don't gain experience unless you do.
That's it. And same thing with like HVAC and plumbing. Our buddies over, Busy Bee. I mean, if you'd had an opportunity for tons of young apprentices to come along, people who are interested, teaching them in that way, that'd have been great. But now we have to convince all these kids you need to take out $400 gazillion in loans so you can be I don't know what she's trying to do, revive dead language lunatic, non-binary wackadoo.
Hey, say what you want. Seeing those hieroglyphics come out of her mouth was pretty impressive.
He's just so... Oh, my Lord. Goodness me. Coming up, Trump taking on the court system. We'll talk about that when it comes to immigration. We got some text messages as well, and we're going to give our picks for college basketball. It is going on. It started today already.
Oh.
Louisville out. Because Creighton, the Blue Jays? I think it's the Blue Jays.
Sounds right.
They Blue Jayed them out of there. The fight of two birds. And the blue one won. It is the Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7. I broke my microphone, but I fixed it. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-369, all of this incredible stuff. Packed into an amazing supplement you give your dog. They also have Meow Greens, too. We give it to our cat. He loves it. Our cat is, let me tell you something. Our cat is so energetic and healthy, and Santa Claus bought him to us, and he was like, you're going to like this cat because he's nuts, and he's going to keep you up at night. And we're like, all right. But he is just amazing. But if you love your animals like I love my animals, it's about keeping them healthy. And Rough Greens helps you with that because this stuff that you sprinkle on top of your dog or cat's food once a day, it's living. It's what's great. It brings their food, because pet food is dead food. It brings it to life. Try a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens or Meow Greens right now. Go to ruffgreens.com. Use my code CHAD. They also have a 90-day challenge with Rough Greens for the dogs, and it is awesome. Try it now. Ruffgreens.com. Use code CHAD. You cover the cost of shipping. It's a $20 value. They get it to you for free. Ruffgreens.com, code CHAD.
Tennessee Congressman John Rose officially launches his bid for governor. That story and more coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh. Marsha. That's all I'm going to say. Marsha. Could we all kind of agree? I mean, she hasn't announced anything. She hasn't said anything. I'm just throwing it out there.
I just cover the news, Brother Chad.
I just cover the news. I don't make it up like you, Chad. I mean, it's like, would you be surprised if she just... Here's a question, though. Here's an interesting one. Right. If she doesn't get in, who would be the favorite then?
Probably John Rose.
I would say because of the money. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Money matters. Now, if you don't have money, but you've got a huge statewide name, that helps. But you can't be nobody and no money and get anywhere.
Oh, that's me on any piece of paper.
But you're not running for governor yet.
Oh, right. That's fair. That's fair.
And you'd have to leave here. You couldn't work.
I mean, I could pick up shifts on the weekend, right?
No.
Do fill-in work.
No, because you can't be, because it's unfair.
Oh,
We'd
yeah.
have to give your opponents
That's
opportunities to be producers, and we don't want that. So you think Rose would be the based on who might be out there?
Yeah, he's the only one that I know of that has officially come out and said, yes.
Yeah.
I'm running for governor.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if Marsha's running. It's just like, you would think, right? Like, that's also one of those rumors that, you would kind of think that everybody's heard for a long time, and it's kind of a wide open field. But when you've got name recognition like that, you've held a statewide office, you've got, it's yeah. But, like, who else might throw their name in the hat if she decided not to get into it?
Yeah.
That's the other side of it, because there could be other. And again, I don't know. She may not. She may be loving everything that's going on. By all accounts, she is.
Yeah. So far, reports say publicly expressed interest is Marsha Blackburn, Tim Burchett, and Diana Harshbarger.
Oh, not the Harshbargers. Oh, Harshbarger.
Tim Burchett would be interesting.
Tim Burchett would be. Do you think he might think, oh, well, if she's not getting into it, I might have a chance? Because you rethink things if you think this is going to happen. If I think this over here is going to happen, and then all of a sudden I find out it's not, and I wasn't going to get in, but now I think, oh, I could be the leader in the clubhouse now.
Yeah.
That may change your mind because you may have put it out. Plus the machine. Let's be honest. There's always a machine, and the machine likes to pick certain things. And so just because you might say it, the machine may come to you and go, yeah, don't do it because we've got our eyes on this person over here. And that was like when I was in Arizona, they had Carrie Lake. Carrie had a really good opportunity, and she decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to crap the bed. I'm going to go so crazy and so wackadoo and turn so many people off, and I'm going to insult everybody I can and then be surprised that I didn't win. And I got along with Carrie. As did, by the way, as did John McCain and them for a very long time. Donald Trump and John McCain, Steele dossier, John McCain said a lot of things. As much as Megyn and them did not like Trump in the battle they got into, John fired the first shots. Carrie was good friends with John and decided, I'm going to just insult him and a bunch of other people. And in a state where he was beloved, maybe not a smart thing to do. It's part of politics is reading a room, man. That's the beauty of Trump, man. He gets out there, he reads the room and goes, all right, this isn't going to go the way that I thought. So I'm gonna pivot here. Okay, that's reading the room. This is why the Democrats suck. They walk out, they're like, man, these people don't want guys playing in girls' sports. So let's get a lot more of that to happen.
Let's learn them.
Just so bad. Just so bad at reading the room. And that was a problem with Carrie. So sometimes you've got to read the room. But I would be interested to see who would if she didn't. And again, I don't know if she is or isn't. And who the machine would get behind. Because he's got enough money to build his own machine. And that's part of it. And the ground game is important as well. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit about Bud Light. Remember a year ago, a young fella by the name of Dylan Mulvaney, Shim, got herself some Bud Light. But it wasn't, in my opinion, I think there was far more to it than just Dylan Mulvaney LARPing as a guy than what met the eye. And is it the same as what's going on with Tesla? We'll talk about that straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And election 2026, CIS District Congressman John Rose just made it official.
Today, I ask for your vote for governor of Tennessee.
One of his pledges is to ensure every Tennessean is within half an hour's drive of health care. He says that's round trip. And by the way, Congressman Rose, and now gubernatorial candidate, will be in studio with Matt Murphy after the news at 4. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi charging 3 people in those attacks on Tesla dealerships as a protest against Doge. General Bondi calls it domestic terrorism, attacks in Salem, Oregon, Loveland, Colorado, Charleston, South Carolina. Today's noon deadline is passed for the U.S. government to provide a district judge more details about the deportation flights that occurred under the Alien Enemies Act. It is not yet known whether the Justice Department has defied that judge's order. Changes coming to Social Security to fight fraud starting on March 31st. Beneficiaries who are unable to use the online portal will be required to go to a Social Security office in person to provide proof of who you are. And waiting in line at the DMV's never been fun, but wait times getting longer as the deadline approaches for the enhanced Real ID that will be required for travel in the U.S.
DMVs around the country are packed as people line up for hours to get their Real ID. What's a Real ID? It's a new form of identification conceived by Congress after 9/11 that requires more of your personal information to be verified. Beginning on May 7th, if you're 18 or older, you'll need either a passport or a Real ID compliant document to fly domestically within the U.S. If you are able to get an appointment for your Real ID, be sure to bring the right documents. Requirements vary by state.
That's ABC's Andrew Dembert. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Busy bee. Busy bee. Busy bee. Do you have an issue with your HVAC? You might. Maybe you should get it checked. You have an issue with your plumbing? It's running a little slow? Well, you should get it checked. And better yet, you should do it with Busy Bee, and you should join the famous Beehive Club. Now it doesn't matter, you're going to get a couple inspections a year. That pays for everything, okay, for your Beehive Club. And it's about being part of the club because you get discounts, you get put to the top of the line, right? That's like getting into the super club early when everybody else is waiting. But they're going to take care of you. Nate and everybody over there are going to take care of you. They're amazing. Gary and the whole crew, they're going to come out. They're going to make sure that you're handled. So if you got issues with your HVAC, you think, oh, my God, we need a new one. You might not let Busy Bee come out. Maybe you're thinking, oh, they're going to have to replace all the plumbing. It's gone bad. No, you're going to be surprised what they can do for you. So whether it is plumbing or your HVAC, don't sweat it. Call Busy Bee. Join the club today. Relax. They got it covered. 775-7833, 775-7833, or visit busybeehvac.com. good song right there. All right. College basketball. I'm excited about it because I'm enjoying the fact that my teams are all going to lose. But still, it's always that hope and dream on that first day that you're going to do okay. And even if you do okay the first day, by the weekend, you're done.
I'm pretty sure my Sooners are going to be one and done.
You think?
Yeah, we got to play Connecticut.
UConn.
UConn's, they got some dudes.
They got some guys. So my Final Four, I have Duke and Tennessee.
Duke and Tennessee.
Which I think is, I think they're
very plausible.
Very, 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 very plausible. I have Auburn, which again, I think the SEC was just a beast.
Yeah.
This year,
especially those 4 teams.
Yeah, and I have Auburn taking on St. John's, and I have St. John's winning, and I have Duke and St. John's in the final.
Well, I tell you what, dude, Auburn right now, they've got their hands full.
They do.
Alabama State.
Well, of course, they already won one. They got that one in game. Woo. Who's the surprise team this year?
I don't know who the surprise team will be, man. I know who I'm pulling for locally. I want to see Lipscomb go far.
Yeah, Lipscomb, that's pretty cool.
I want to see them go far.
That's going to be interesting to see how they do. You know, I was looking, who's Bryant? Where's that place?
Where is Bryant?
I'm like, that's not even a real school. Bunch of guys show up.
Well, Purdue beat a school by the name of High Point.
See, that's not real. You're making stuff up. Bryant University is a private university in Smithfield, Rhode Island.
Okay.
Yeah. Colleges of arts and stuff.
What's the enrollment? Like 10,000?
Oh, it's not. I don't even think it's that. 3,700 students.
30.
Yeah.
Wow.
They play East American East Conference.
Interesting.
And they play they play 8-man football or something.
Yeah.
Oh, good God. That is freaking hilarious, baby. I said freaking, so settle down.
You said the F word.
I did.
Honeyman.
I did. I said the F word. Freaking, oh, God. So I'm excited, though. This will be fun. I always like to see how much money people and time people waste on it. Because, the first 2 weeks, that Thursday and Friday, people aren't doing work. They've got on their other screen, they're pretending to do work, but they got 2 games up.
Oh, yeah. Well, and if you have YouTube TV, you can have 4 games up at one time.
I didn't know that. Let's head on over there and see what's going on. I'm surprised we don't have any games on. Oh, well, we can't because I'm getting ready to watch AOC and Bernie Sanders hold a Fighting the Oligarch rally.
Awesome. What channel?
CNN.
Let me tell you something about oligarchs. They're bad. Super bad. One time, they're really bad. Everything about an oligarch is bad.
I got to see if ABC is going to give me a channel on that here.
Want to fight the rally? Want to fight the people?
So you say that, and the image I get in my mind is they're putting on boxing gloves, and they're going to go put on recliners
take you on right
in the
now.
middle
What do you want to do? Huh? I'm a pugilist. He feels like he's a guy who used the word pugilist.
Oh, absolutely.
They're fighting the oligarchs because, Elon is bad. No, Elon is Elon.
Wah, wah.
Do I think he's perfect? No. Do I think he's made some mistakes? Yes. Do I think he's excited because he thinks he's got $50 billion and he really hasn't? Yeah. And he also realized, and I said, he's going to get to Mars quicker and easier than he is fighting the bureaucracy at the rate it's going.
Got to have we have to have people like Elon Musk.
We do. That's just
Gotta have him.
Because you know why? He's got the stones enough to say, we need to take this on. He's honest when other people won't be.
Right.
You have too many people out there going, well, we'll be fine in a few years. No, you won't. No, you won't. We're not going to be fine in a few years at the rate we're going.
Nope.
We're not. I mean, it's the Titanic. And everybody's like, you guys, we're going to be fine. You guys, let's move the deck chairs around. This is going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, the strings are already playing.
Yes. As we're sinking. This is not. We have to be honest. But you know what? That also calls for us to have a conversation that we're willing to have, that we need to make some serious decisions. I said last night, we're clinically obese. That's what we are. We have we don't even have type 2. We have type 8 diabetes at the rate we're going. We're running at a heart attack, and you don't want to hear the news that you can fix this, but it's going to take a little longer. And a younger generation, by the way, you guys, you're looking at 70 as your retirement because you're going to live to be 90. So, I think that my buddy Jim is probably listening, wrote an article on his Substack about this, and that, this generation, this 20-somethings, their age expectancy right around 90. Well, retiring at 62 or 65 or it's 70, you're going to have 15, 20 years, which, I remind you, wasn't what was happening back in the day. They were counting on some of you dying before you ever got there and some of you dying right after you retired. They weren't counting on your golden years being 15, 20, 30 years later. So we're going to have a come to Jesus moment, but you also have to have an opportunity to tell people, if you're getting Social Security now and Medicare and Medicaid, this isn't about you today. But if you're 25, if you're 44, and even moving some of those things, that's only going to prolong it's only going to move the numbers from us going broke out a certain amount of years. We still have to make other cuts to make it solvent. But the minute you mention it, people, I already paid in it. It's my money. It's mine. It's mine. Well, for every dollar you put in, you take 4. So that must mean there's other monies out there that aren't yours. So we have to figure that out. But you have to have somebody like Elon who's willing to say, I want to take this head on. Not because I have to. And the left's he's an oligarch. He's going to give himself all this stuff, and he's going to put himself in a situation where he gets government contracts. He already has government contracts. Well, he's going to get more. Like for space? Did he just come down for space? Did he just bring our people down for space? Is he trying to go to Mars? Are you trying to go to Mars, Bernie? I don't think you are. I think you're trying to give free stuff away on Earth. You're not trying to go to Mars. And yes, he's going to make mistakes. But when you're moving at the speed that they're moving, expect that. Expect that. So what is going on with immigration? The battle of the plane, the times of the plane.
There's a legal battle going on about the judge himself. The administration is seeking to challenge the judge's ability to even ask questions about who was on those planes, which, of course, would set a huge precedent in this country as a nation of rule of laws for following procedures when simply shuttling people out of the country with no questions asked.
And we need to ask those questions because we want to do it right. Were there people on there that shouldn't have been on that plane? Were there people at a real right to asylum that they've applied for? Because remember, Venezuela, socialist, essentially communist nation, Maduro has a way of making his people disappear as well.
Mr. Barrios came to the United States legally. He was seeking asylum. He is a professional soccer player. He also happens to be a political dissident, someone who challenged the Maduro regime in Venezuela, was seeking asylum here. He was detained because of some tattoos on his body. The government was investigating whether or not he was a gang member, something he denies. But again, he was put on those airplanes and sent not to his home country, but to El Salvador with no questions asked, no opportunity to appeal, no opportunity to prove that he actually was a dissident seeking solace in the United States.
And they should have their right. We should find out who these people are. They're going to make mistakes. They are. And I know everybody wants everybody to be perfect. That's not politics. Politics isn't perfect. People aren't perfect. And there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be overreach. And if we have made mistakes, then we need to rectify those mistakes. There's no doubt about that. That's what makes great leaders, and that's what makes, and it's not about we're not going to do this again in the future. No, but we have to recognize that there's due process and not everybody here who has a tattoo. Let me tell you something. I'm inked up. You're inked up in there. I mean, could you imagine them pulling Mason over? It looks like Stan from South Park right now. But, but could you, the thing is, it's, like, and they would say, well, I think that this, identifies as that and stuff. And that would be the helplessness of that. would be frustrating. It's about doing it right. It's not about, oh, these people shouldn't be here. We all agree. Everybody who's is in Trende or MS-13 or 18th Street and all these gangs that have come here and these criminals, they should all be gone. But the people who have come here and applied for asylum, been given the opportunity, and are here for other reasons, no, we should just toss them out. We have to do it the right way. Now, if they've committed crimes while they're here, yeah. But if they haven't and they follow the rules, that's why we have those rules. And if we don't like them, then change the asylum laws and do that through Congress, which, as we know, Congress doesn't like doing anything. Somebody said, hey, Chad, did you hear that they're going to attack the Tesla place in Franklin on Saturday? I know there's going to be I guess it's going to be a demonstration. Is it going to be? I'm going out. So I'm heading out there.
I'll be interested to hear what happens.
Yeah.
Because
this is my chance, Ken, to do the things I've always dreamed of doing, which is to stand in line when they chant, mess up the chant, clap wrong. This is my chance. I may never get a better chance than this.
This might be it, dude.
This might be it. So we're filming it. We're doing the whole thing. And I want to talk to people. What's your anger about? Let's have a conversation, which we don't have anymore. We had that guy screaming earlier. Nah! And no, let's have a conversation. Hey, why are you so hostile? Well, I hate him because he's doing this. He's going to steal all the data. He doesn't steal the data. He could buy the data if he wanted it.
I got news for people. Yeah. People already have access to your data.
Yeah. You get my Netflix password. Good. I hope he can. Can you get my Facebook password? That's the one I'm trying to get back, and somebody stole it already.
You know those terms of agreement that everybody
yes.
quickly bypasses? Yeah. That's I never gave permission to you to use that.
Your stuff's already gone.
Yes, you did.
So it's going to be interesting. I want to see what it's like. I want to see how many people show up, because I know they were supposed to do it last week and they didn't because of the weather. And I want to see what it's like, because they had one. Was it Chattanooga? They had one.
I got to see.
You were on the Chris show earlier today, if I'm correct, Mason. Is that what you said? There was a Chattanooga. They had. They did one last week, but nobody showed up really.
There was one in. Oh goodness. Yeah, I think it was supposed to be in Chattanooga. Like 15 people showed up.
Yeah.
No, sorry, not Chattanooga. I think it was Knoxville. Knoxville, like 15 people showed up. They're redoing it. They're doing it in Chattanooga, Knoxville, Memphis, one other place, Franklin.
A lot of people said they want to come out with me. Come on out. We're going to have fun.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, Franklin, Knoxville, Chattanooga, and Bartlett on Saturday. Where is Bartlett? That's random.
Is it? Is that probably where that Bryant school is? Some random
probably.
Place.
Yeah.
Somebody says, why do you want to ask Tesla terrorists anything? I said, because I do. I want to ask them.
It's the burning question.
It is. Why?
Okay, Bartlett's outside of Memphis.
Okay, so I'm not going to that one. They have a Tesla place in Memphis?
Outside of Memphis.
Okay, there we go.
In the suburb.
All right. Yeah, why not? I want to ask them. By the way, not all of them are paid. Are some of them? I'm sure, they probably are. But not everybody's paid. Because trust me, if there was, I'd go to the site right now and figure out how I get a few bucks to show up and sing my songs that I'm creating. I may bring a kazoo.
Ooh.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Just take a wooden spoon and a painter's bucket.
Oh, yes.
Just brum, 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 brum.
I'm going to dress like the Blue Man Group. Just beat on something.
Don't say a word. Just paint it blue.
Oh, you know what? I'm pretty excited because it's. I don't often get a chance to practice my mime skills.
Dude, you could be like Buster in Arrested Development.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whenever he's banging on that Indian drum.
This is going to be great. This is going to be awesome. But I'm going to go out there because I am curious. I want to ask him. So what's the deal? Why are you so angry? Right? Why are you so angry? Why? What's going on? What's going on in your life? You're having a good life, but just find out why. Because if you don't talk to other people and find out the differences, that's not a good thing, right? We should be able to have conversations. So we're going to do that, but it's going to be fun. So maybe you guys come out and join me. It'll be good. I'll bring a T-shirt, one of those T-shirt gun shooters, and hot dogs.
Yeah, I was going to say, you either do that or you bring a bag of hot dogs, set up a table, and be like, oh, I thought this was a hot dog eating contest.
Now, the Tennessee Star says that protesters have been given, specific instructions
Oh.
The group is instructing those who attend Saturday's protest to not park or go on Tesla private property. You have to stay on the sidewalk, Brother Chad.
Yeah, I will. It's going to be good. I'm pumped. I'm excited. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Maybe you'll see me out there. You'll guys see me. I'll be dressed like a giant panda. Coming up. With WT and stuff all over me. We'll wrap it up. Matt will come in here in a minute, too. I'm sure he's wandering around. It is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Prize Picks, the madness of March is going on. We got hockey, the NBA, baseball's ticked off, and look at it go. Let me ask you a question. You're thinking, what's Prize Picks? It's fantasy. It's amazing. It's about picking and setting a lineup. And the lineups are easy. Do you think that somebody, say, like Shohei Ohtani is going to get more than 1.5 hits in a game? Do you think that maybe LeBron James will score more than 22.5 points in their next game? That's how easy it is to set a lineup. Once you set that lineup and use my code Chad at Prize Picks, you get $50 win or lose after you play your first $5 lineups. It is so simple and easy to do. And there's hockey, there's soccer, there's everything you could think of. So why not take advantage of it? You download the app. You can win 1,000 times your money. Money's transferred immediately into your account. You can even transfer it quickly to your account when you win, because winning's what it's all about. They got tons of promos and opportunities. Play your Prize Picks now. Download the app. Use my code Chad. The minute you play your first $5 lineup, you get $50 instantly. Win or lose. That's your bonus for their Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be 21. Present in Tennessee. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Broadcasting live in 3D green Technicolor. Everybody's all giving me crap for my shirt because I wore it
you
afterwards.
started it.
No, I started off your second day.
Well, today's like fourth day.
Yeah, but I didn't. Well, I've got green all over my body, so I win that. But you wore the green after. You wore green 2 days in a row.
I did.
That's why. And I said it was interesting because you had a green on, but you also had a dress jacket on. You had a T-shirt and a dress jacket.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that's a little, look at that.
That's one of those things.
I like it, though.
Like, what is he doing?
I like it, though. You think outside the box.
Business in the front, party
when
in the
you're
back.
not telling everybody to beat their kids.
What's going on there?
I see you got your Final Four.
I got my bracket. Took me, I think, I did not time myself. I should have. I think it took me 60 seconds to do this. But I do it solely for one reason, and that is to have some level of interest in all of this. Because otherwise, I realized several years ago I didn't do a bracket. I don't really like basketball, and everybody's into March Madness and yada, yada, yada. And but I like winning, even if I invest no time or energy in said winning. So I realized that if I don't pick a bracket, then I have no interest in any of this. And I will say, the way that March Madness is set up, it lends itself to excitement because you don't have to deal with the first 35 minutes of most games because they're rolling.
Yeah.
You just get the last 5 minutes of games, last 5 minutes of this game, last 5 minutes of that game.
That's all you need.
And that's all you want,
Yeah, that's all you want.
At least that's all I want. But
So who do you have winning?
I have Auburn winning the national championship.
Beating?
Duke.
I have Duke there because I just think Duke is they're just stacked. And if he's healthy, flag, that's hard to beat.
I got a lot of chalk. I got 3 1s and a 2 in the Final Four. The 2 is Tennessee. I think that Tennessee will beat Clemson in the Elite Eight, and because Clemson will beat Houston.
I got Tennessee losing to Duke, and then I've got St. John's beating Auburn.
Clemson is trailing by 10 points right now to McNeese State.
Oh, boy. Well, see, all of that time and research right out the window.
All those 60 seconds.
All that 60 seconds right out the window. By 10 points?
10
oh, my
points.
goodness.
You have the maybe governor on today.
There's a 12-5. Yeah, John Rose is coming in. You know, as you guys mentioned, he made his announcement official. It was expected. He's talked about it for many, many months, and there's an expectation that Marsha Blackburn will be in the race with him. And
if she didn't get in, who else would throw their hat in? You think people that are like, I'm not going to do it because she's going to get in, but if she doesn't, then
I think you would have a lot of players in the ring.
Yeah, I do too.
I think you'd have Glenn Jacobs automatically in the ring, Knox County mayor, and very well known. I think he would be a part of it. I think you would probably have a Tim Burchett or even a Mark Green that would take on John Rose. I think Marsha clears the field in a lot of ways, but John had been very successful in business, so he has the ability to self-fund, and he believes that he can do this. So we're
going to find out. He'll be on your show at what time?
4:05.
4:05. Matt Murphy, straight ahead. You guys have a great rest of your day. Super Talk 99.7.